All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome. Today is March 7th. It is a Tuesday, 10 a.m. start. This is episode number 317 of the Simply Cyber's Daily Cyber Threat Briefing. I'm your host, Dr. Gerald Ozier, coming in hot from the Citadel's campus. Don't even have my studio set up correctly. Got the midnight kind of easing us into the stream today on Tuesday. If you're new here, over the next 45 minutes, me, you, Andrew Nakamura, Kenneth Ruff, Carrie, William Welch, Amadou Ba, and all of the Simply Cyber community, new and old, all friends, are going to be tearing up the top cybersecurity news stories of the day, and I'll be giving my expert opinion, analysis on all of those stories, on what it means to you as a practitioner, how can you operationalize it at work, in the short term, in the long term, tactical, strategic. We cover it all. We have a good time in here. There are sound effects. Also, if you're looking to break into the industry, guess what? Big news. This is going to be pretty important. We cover different topics, different terminology. You will be asked in any job interview, how do you stay current in the industry? This right here is an exceptional answer. All right? Maybe the interviewer even knows about us. Could be cool. Could be cool to have that shared common interest. But at a minimum, you're going to have a sick answer besides just saying like, oh, I do things. Like, no. All right, but before we get into the show, I'd love to share with you the stream sponsors who keep it so we don't have to run ads on the channel or on the daily cyber threat briefings. Starting with our good friend Eric Taylor, Barricade Cyber Solutions. Thank you so much, Barricade Cyber Solutions. Guys, let me tell you, Barricade Cyber Solutions is dedicated to helping businesses from cyber attacks and recover from the damage done. Cyber attacks can cause massive issues for businesses and send dedicated, hardworking business owners into turmoil. But Barricade Cyber Solutions knows how to mitigate the damage done by cyber incidents. Check them out at barricadecyber.com. Link in the description below. Duke Norris up at the DMV. Turn the speaker up on full blast, Duke. Let everybody at the DMV know what's up. Hey, want to shout out Brandon Poole and Panopsci. I will get a copy to read at some point from Brandon, but what Brandon wants me to let you know is Panopsci can help you eliminate fear and uncertainty from your cybersecurity program by using quantified risk assessments, actual statistics, metrics, numbers to inform, to help you decide that, oh, if we invest 20% more money into our program, we can increase the efficacy of risk reduction by 18%. Is that worth it? It's a lot better than saying if we invest another $100,000, we'll go from like kind of green or kind of yellow to like a yellowish green on a heat map. You see what I'm saying? Quantified risk assessments are incredibly good at helping you understand what you need to do. They're just a little bit more involved, more engaging with the business. It is a top tier GRC analyst capability. I believe that. All right, so definitely check them out. Each episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Briefing, and by the way, it's panopsci.com. Links in the description below. I'll drop a link in chat anyways. Definitely go and check those two companies out. Both great companies, both run by great people. Each episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Briefing is worth half a CPE, so be sure to say what's up in chat like Michael Fink is, #TeamLive. If you are live, love it, love it, love it. I know it's a Tuesday or Thursday, which has a 10 a.m. start. It's a little jarring. Reminder, folks, this is the last semester I'll be teaching 8 a.m. classes at the Citadel. I've moved my schedule to 9:30 classes so I can deliver the Cyber Threat Briefing every single weekday morning at 8 a.m. starting this summer. So a little something to put on the schedule and look forward to, especially if the 10 a.m.s are rough. I know Left Coast people, Nick Barker, Poner Joe, Brady McNulty. I'm sorry, buds. Okay. If you are on replay, #TeamReplay in comments, you definitely want to drop comments. I love it. And it helps. I love reading the comments, frankly, on Team Replay. You guys always are dropping interesting stuff. What's up to Chris Weaver? Team Replay is on the Simply Cyber Community Challenge now. Internal Stranger officially took that on. We'll talk more about that at the mid-roll. Final thing to say, what's up, Team Hybrid? If you start late and you catch up to us on live, that's Team Hybrid. It's a small percentage, but it is you. And most importantly, #Passive Observer. If you are a passive observer, if you're here on the regular, but you never say hi, you don't engage networking-wise, if you do it for deliberately, that's okay, and I'm not pushing you. But if you're not engaging because you're nervous or imposter syndrome, you're not sure what to say, just say hashtag passive observer. People in this community are super inclusive, super supportive. There's no reason for you to not be part of the networking that's going on here. It is so freaking valuable. So to not do it is you're doing yourself a disservice. All right, guys. We're going to get into the top cyber news stories of the day now. I will see you at the mid-roll. It is Tidbits Tuesday, so expect some of that action. But for now, sit back, relax, get into your most comfy chair, grab your cup of tea, cup of coffee, your cup of bourbon. If you're, I guess, like maybe in the Eastern European, Asian space, it's evening there. Whatever you fancy, because you're not going to move for the next 15, 20 minutes. Settle in, let's go.
From the CISO series, it's Cybersecurity Headlines.
It's Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. Police disrupt Doppelpaymer. Europol announced that law enforcement in both Germany and Ukraine coordinated to take down core members of the ransomware organization. This saw multiple raids across the two countries in February, leading to the arrest of 2 targeted individuals. German police believe Doppelpaymer's ransomware operations use 5 core members to maintain infrastructure and handle negotiations. Police issued warrants for the other 3 named members, all of which show some connection to Russia. Doppelpaymer emerged on the ransomware scene in 2019. Europol reports it found 37 confirmed attacks on organizations by the group. U.S. victims paid an estimated $42.4 million between May 2019 and March 2021.
Interesting. It's hard to not do this police sound with the crypto sound.
I'm a crypto evangelist. I love it, love it, love it.
All right, so another win for the good guys, or good girls, good ladies, good people, good team, the home team, if you will. So Doppelpaymer is a ransomware gang. They did not get a lot of publicity that I am aware of. I've heard their name in passing a couple times, but they're not, I wouldn't call them like tier A ransomware threat actors, right? Like Hive, Lockbit, Black Basta. So Doppelpaymer, still $42 million of damages to US-based groups. A couple of things to point out here. One, it is Germany and Ukraine were involved, the law enforcement, so Europol. And it looks like it was German nationals. The way I read it, German nationals operating, and they arrested him and they had Russian ties. So here's something kind of interesting. For all intents and purposes, a Russian-backed ransomware group that's hitting the United States is taken out by Ukraine and Germany. And obviously it was in Germany, or German nationals, so you needed to coordinate with Germany on this one. But I do find it interesting that what I would consider a lower tier ransomware gang, and I'm not saying, okay, a lower tier ransomware gang gets blown up with a very, coordinated, likely expensive, both from time and resource perspective, ransomware gang to get hit and taken out. Now, what immediately comes to my mind is, okay, so this is Russian-backed, attacking U.S. businesses for $42 million. Ukraine gets involved in helping it. So Ukraine is obviously interested in kind of damaging Russian capabilities, and the United States has been helping Ukraine by sending, heavy armor, bullets, like stuff for their war effort. So you'd think, I don't know if there's like we've been doing all this stuff for you. You need to take out Doppelpaymer ransomware gang, as, kind of like quid pro quo, if you will. So that's complete speculation, tinfoil hat. But to me, it's a little, I don't want to say confusing, but it just seems interesting that this ransomware threat actor gang would receive this level of focus and effort to take down this operation. But good on them, dude. I'm all about dismantling ransomware threat actors, and ransomware is still like, we're seeing a degradation in ransomware attacks, ransomware payment amounts, the efficacy of ransomware. I think in 2022, I read a report yesterday that 93% of 93% of ransomware attacks fail, meaning the ransomware detonation does not occur correctly. That's a massive number. And for the 7% that do make it, it's billions of dollars, right? Or it's hundreds of millions at minimum. So ransomware, it's still quite relevant and quite whatever. So Mike's saying Doppelpair's high-profile victims: Kia Motors, Delaware County in Pennsylvania, laptop maker Compaq, Newcastle University, Foxconn. Yeah. You know what, guys?
Straight cash, homie.
You mess with the wrong business, and you affect wealthy people's wealth. They're gonna flex on you.
EPA releases cybersecurity notice for water systems. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency released an advisory warning that water systems in the U.S. are increasingly vulnerable to cyber attacks, coming from both cybercriminal and state-affiliated actors. The Biden administration announced it would make it mandatory for states to conduct security audits on these systems. The EPA already released guides to security audits for these systems and will provide technical support for future assessments. The advisory also included public disclosure of 3 recent ransomware attacks on water systems in California, Maine, and Nevada, including one where threat actors compromised a system used to control SCADA industrial controls.
Yep. Okay. So a couple things. Justin Gold, if you're in chat, this could affect you or anybody who's working on drinking water. You may remember there was like the little famous, not little, but there was like that famous story that made a lot of sizzle around a threat actor that had jumped into a VNC session or a team viewer session, some type of remote access of an engineer's workstation at a water plant in Florida, and could have technically adjusted the chemicals and made the drinking water in the town poison. That did not happen. It was much more of like the potential impact, not the actual impact. The U.S. government urges cyber audits. That's different than orders, right? Words matter, people. Orders states is different than urges states. So I'm assuming this right here says it will make it mandatory for states to conduct security audits. So this is good. Water is critical infrastructure. As far as me, you, Carrie, Paul Cummings, right? Hey, Justin Gold. As far as all of us care, here's what I read when I see this. This is GRC audit work. This is required GRC audit work. You might want, it's not immediate. Like I'd want to see what the mandatory requirements are. Are they supposed to start doing it in 90 days, 180 days? Dude, there's a ton. Like every single public water system is in the United States is going to have to be audited. Who's going to do the auditing? You, right? Cybersecurity audit firms. Guys, the local and state governments, they probably don't have the staff on hand. They're going to build this out. They're going to contract it out to somebody. Could be you, right? I'm just saying, it's not ridiculous. I see this as jobs, honestly. I see this as jobs. It is important. The final thing I'll say about this, and people need to be really mindful about this as well. Just because, hey, Rob Kern, thanks for the sub. Just because you audit the public water systems, right? Auditing doesn't do anything except reveal what the problems are, okay? Like if you, say I audit Jacksonville, North Carolina water system on WASA, right? And this is in October of 2018, I don't know if you guys remember this, okay? There was a ransomware incident at Onwassa. This was a water plant for the state of North Carolina. It's like greater South Carolina. Greater like Jacksonville area on the coast, okay? This is an example of a water system that would fall into scope of this legislation. Now, here's the thing. I could audit this thing all day long and say, oh my God, they don't have MFA. They're completely susceptible to physical security attacks. They don't have EDR. They're not educating their end users. They don't use privileged access management. They use cloud-based systems and they have no accountability. Shadow tech everywhere. Carl works there, okay? All of those things I could find, and I would be compliant with this mandatory requirement. But the mandatory requirement needs to be that states are mitigating the risks identified from the mandatory cybersecurity audits. That's where you get risk reduction. This just makes you aware of your risk, right? So that's a key difference, and one that I really find important to point out. Requiring the audit doesn't change the risk posture, right? It just makes you aware of it. So compliance, checkbox, security isn't going to do anything for this.
Cloud exploitation on the rise. A new report from CrowdStrike found overall cloud exploitation against organizations increased 95% on the year, with cases involving cloud-conscious threat actors nearly tripling. Overall, the report confirmed recent findings that attackers continue to increase efficiency, with breakout time down 15% on the year to just 84 minutes. Overall, the report found 71% of attacks are malware-free. Unsurprisingly, the report found that social engineering tactics also increased on the year, particularly targeted around getting around SMS-based multi-factor authentication with things like SIM swapping.
Okay, so CrowdStrike is definitely a major player in the industry. So when they released this global report, which is worth looking at, okay, you got to remember CrowdStrike. Here, dropping it in chat. CrowdStrike, you'll probably have to put your credentials, like an email address or something like that. But CrowdStrike has all the telemetry from all of the businesses and clients that they install their solution on. So CrowdStrike has a huge footprint, right? Multi-million, if not billion-dollar business. They have the big vendor booth at Black Hat, right? That's kind of a flex on how wealthy they are. But the information that comes out of this report is accurate, statistical, sound, quantifiable evidence. That's what makes these bigger industry players like IBM X-Force or Verizon, CrowdStrike in this case, SentinelOne, like their reports are based on real facts. So it's very, very useful and very, very, accurate. They do point out at the top of the story, cloud exploitation grew by 95%. There's absolutely no surprise there, guys. The cloud is, you can't mitigate down the attack surface of cloud. Like cloud is intended to be accessible by everyone everywhere, which is why zero trust architecture is the new paradigm, because you can't build a moat and then a big castle wall around your critical assets, because a lot of them are in the cloud, or you're sharing data, you're storing data, whatever. So 95% growth for cloud exploitation. This should inform your strategic planning to focus or bring into focus, if it's not, cloud systems. What are you storing in the cloud? Who has access to the cloud? Are you requiring multi-factor authentication for cloud instances? Here's a real thing, okay? We as InfoSec people, we're trying to enable the business. We are no longer the office of no, like we've matured out of that. But you do have to have some like hard positions. Like we will not go with a cloud-based solution that does not allow us multi-factor authentication. Really, we shouldn't go with any cloud solutions that doesn't support federated authentication. That's the real win, and then you can leverage your own MFA solution, and then it becomes very easy to turn off accounts and stuff like that. But my point is, that's one of those lines in the sand, because eventually the business is going to say, "Oh, we really like this whatever, this tool," right? Joe Belton's ice cream shop, they want to use a cloud solution that allows you to you can drop in like what different flavors of ice cream you have, and it'll automatically tell you like different recipes you can make, or banana splits and Jim Dandies and whatever, okay? Whatever it is. And the business really wants it. And you're like, they don't do multi-factor authentication, man. Like, no. This is where it's a decision point on what is the actual governance of the company. If you guys wrote it into policy, is the first time that you test that policy, they just issue an exception, well, then you don't have very good tone at the top, right? All right, so I definitely check out this report. It's definitely interesting. They say 71% of attacks were malware free. What does that mean? It means like living off the land, using the tools that are in place, straight up stealing credentials and then logging in and downloading like whatever information or data they want right? So you don't need to be elite 0-day hacksaw. If I can just trick Greg Does Stuff into giving me credentials and I log in as Greg Does Stuff, we're good to go. Jim Dandy. So Greg Does Stuff. Real quick, this is a little departure. I grew up in New England. There was an ice cream chain called Friendlies. You may know about Friendlies if you're in chat. Go for Friendlies. They had a banana split, but then they had the dessert called Jim Dandy, which was like basically like a mutant banana split. It looked like two banana splits had been like fused together. It was like the grossest, biggest, most ridiculous dessert they had on the menu. And when I was like 10 or 12, like that's what I would order because I'd be like, give me the, if I'm going to be a bear, I'm going to be a grizzly. Give me the biggest thing you got.
WhatsApp agrees to more privacy transparency. The popular Meta-owned messaging app caused itself an undue amount of trouble when it introduced a new privacy policy back in 2021. This new policy outlined how WhatsApp would share business user data with Facebook. However, many people read this to mean all user data would be shared with Meta's social network. As a result, the European Commission and the Consumer Protection Cooperation Network sent a letter to WhatsApp in 2022 asking the service to ensure users understand what policies they're actually agreeing to. WhatsApp announced it would follow some of the letter's recommendations, including giving users the ability to reject policy changes, prominently display new terms, and explaining how these would impact a user's rights. These changes will only come to the EU for now. Meta did not say if it plans to bring it to other markets, including the US.
Okay, I'm glad there's so much Friendlies love in chat. WhatsApp agrees to be more transparent. Okay, so they made a change. Lawyers are going to lawyer. It sounds like they made it sound very subtle, like, oh, we're going to share it with Facebook. And in reality, they were sharing, like, we're going to share some data with Facebook, which sounds like minimum amount with minimum sender or recipient. And what it turned out, sounds like, was they were taking all of the data and sending it to all of the Meta, right? Which is two different things. Obviously, WhatsApp getting paid out. Hold on.
Straight cash, homie.
All about that cash, right? So, and the EU stepped in and said, whoa. Let's investigate what you're doing here, my friend. And then, WhatsApp's going to do some of the things. I don't use WhatsApp at all. I don't touch WhatsApp. I have some family threads that use WhatsApp, and unfortunately, I'm not really engaged on them because of how I feel about WhatsApp. But this is, whatever, guys. How many people actually read the privacy policy? How many people read the EULA when you click through? Not a lot of people. Again, just be mindful of it. If you're allowing WhatsApp in your environment, you might, like anytime you allow an application in your environment, you absolutely should be reviewing the policies and make sure that it's consistent with whatever your organization policies are or your own personal policies.
And now a word from our sponsor, Packet Labs. Struggling to justify cybersecurity investments to decision makers? Meet Rosie, the superhero of cybersecurity investments. Calculate your return on security investment to quantify the value of prevention and save money by avoiding cybersecurity breaches. Rosie builds synergies between your business, security, and finance teams, bringing everyone together. Download our free buyer's guide to learn the Rosie formula, how to reduce cyber insurance premiums, and what to look for in a provider. Visit ciso.packetlabs.net and unleash the power of Rosie in your C-suite decisions today.
All right, it's the mid-roll. Let's do it. Hey. Guys, if you're getting entertainment value, educational value, any value whatsoever from the stream or from Simply Cyber, please take a hot second and hit that like button. It goes a long way, not just for me and for the channel, but we are live right now. This is a live stream. It will notify other people who search for like cybersecurity content on YouTube that this is possibly something they would be interested in. Let's ride the algorithm wave. So go ahead and hit that like button if you would. I would genuinely appreciate it. I want to thank Barricade Cyber Solutions and Panoptcy for their stream sponsorship and support. I'm friends with both guys who own both of those companies, and I stand by them. They are genuine professionals. I love it. If you want, sign up, hit ! Newsletter in chat right now. Get that URL. Sign up for the Simply Cyber newsletter and get emails from me that actually deliver, value where you can weaponize what I'm teaching you to improve your information security program. Want to spend a hot minute talking about the Simply Cyber Community Challenge? We forked it yesterday, and it seems to be going well. So, what is the Simply Cyber Community Challenge? Every single day, the community, someone who is currently tags someone in the community. They go on to LinkedIn and post about Simply Cyber or about cybersecurity. They deliver value. They share their story. They add the hashtag Simply Cyber Community Challenge in the post. They tag me in the post. And I would love to ask you to go find that post today and comment on it. Now, here's the value of the networking. Connect with the person who's doing the challenge and connect with everybody in the comments. Believe me, you absolutely will build a meaningful, useful, constructive network on LinkedIn. And I can't tell you enough. Networking is absolutely critical. So instead of just networking with random people, you're networking with other Simply Cyber community members. It's going to be valuable to you, I promise you. So go online, Simply Cyber Community Challenge, LinkedIn. Now, Cyber Munchkin is currently holding the baton for Team Live. So Cyber Munchkin, if you could please tag someone in chat, I would love it while I look for Team Replay. All right. Also on Team Replay, Internal Stranger is tagged. It provided his LinkedIn. So go ahead and connect with Internal Stranger. Love it. Love it. Love it. He is tagged Estella. Add Estella on the Discord server. If you'd like to compete, if you'd like to participate in the Team Replay Simply Cyber Community Challenge, go onto the Discord server and sign up on the Simply Cyber Community Challenge channel under the Simply Cyber, okay? I know that's a lot to do, but let's go. So Estella is on Team Replay Simply Cyber Community Challenge, and Cyber Munchkin's about to tag someone up in here. Here we go, Cyber Munchkin. All right, so while Cyber Munchkin's doing that, I'm going to do a little Tidbits Tuesday. Jenny Housley. I don't think Jenny Housley's been tagged yet. Jenny Housley, do you accept the challenge, the Tidbits Challenge? Let me know. I mean, not the Tidbits Challenge, the Community Challenge. All right, so little tidbits about Jerry. So on Tuesdays, I like to share a little personal story. Jojo, thanks for the super chat, by the way.
What? We just become best friends. Yep.
All right, so a little bit about me. Tidbits. I guess there was a documentary on Netflix right now about Woodstock 99. Little tidbits. I went to Woodstock 99, the one that was like a hot mess on fire, where there were the riots at the end. People were upset. It was hot. It was dirty. Everything was wicked expensive. It was corporate nightmare. I saw more concerts than I've ever seen in my life in one setting. I really had a good time. I saw Moby, The Roots, Offspring, Chili Peppers, like so many. It was a good time. So if you were
China creates data storage.
Chill out. If you were at Woodstock 99, you know what I'm talking about. Cyber Munchkin, did Jenny Housley take on the challenge? Let me know. Oh yeah, Corn. It was so good. All right, we're gonna continue on. Mods, if you can, let me know. I see Estella's typing in Team Replay, so we're good to go. Let's keep going, and hopefully Jenny Housley takes it. There she is.
Agency. China's National People's Congress approved the creation of the new agency, which will centralize management of data storage in the country. The Wall Street Journal sources say this would make it the top regulator for data-related issues. Right now, multiple ministries share overlapping oversight. The agency would rule on foreign data exports, set data collection rules for businesses, and investigate use of algorithms.
Okay, I had to step away for a minute, but this is the National Data Bureau. No big surprise, guys. Data... I mean, data is the new gold. It's been the new gold for for 10, 15 years. If you look at who our, robber barons are right now, our Carnegies, our Vanderbilts of 2020s, it's Elon Musk, it's Jeff Bezos, it's Zuckerberg. It's people who, have access to huge amounts of data. So it's no surprise that something so valuable wouldn't warrant its own government agency in China, especially, with China wanting to kind of streamline everything to go through the government, and, basically have control over all that. So this is fine. This is interesting. This doesn't really, as far as I'm concerned, this doesn't really impact my day-to-day cybersecurity job, but it is interesting. It could lead to other countries doing similar agencies, but we'll see. Be kind of interesting to see how this turns out. Whoops. Hold on, I hit the wrong button.
Federal agencies improperly used cell site simulators. This finding comes from the Department of Homeland Security's Office of the Inspector General. The OIG found that the U.S. Secret Service and Immigration and Customs Enforcement did not always follow federal statutes and privacy policies when using stingrays and other devices used to decoy cell towers. The public report largely redacts statistical data on usage, so we don't get a clear picture how pervasive the agencies use these. These agencies are supposed to get a court order for using cell site simulators, except under exigent circumstances. The report found it failed to do that. The OIG issued 6 recommendations to guide the agencies in better following its legal and policy obligations, but likely legislative action would be needed to meaningfully improve the situation.
You know what bothers me? Okay. Yeah, hey, okay, so Chip's comment, I like what Chip is saying, so just going back really quickly about the government, the Chinese government with their data regulatory agency. Chip is saying they can also look at whom and who accesses all the data. This is very good point, Chip. Thank you for bringing it up. So China is an authoritative regime. If you kind of question if you question the authority, you get re-educated, I guess, to put it plainly. If you go against the grain, you get re-educated. If you refuse, you take a vacation and you just kind of disappear. So by doing this data governance and regulations, they can basically establish certain protocols, certain standards, funnel all the data through machine learning, AI, all these things, and then be able to identify quicker, faster, with more accuracy, dissent, the individuals of that dissent. Basically, it's a good point. It's a very good point, Chip. Now back to this story right here about DHS, law enforcement, ICE, Secret Service using stingrays and breaking the law doing it. Okay, so really quickly, we've known about this technology for several years. If you've been to Black Hat or DEF CON, you've probably used these technologies unknowingly. Basically, think of it as I haven't seen one, right? But think of it as like a backpack that an FBI agent or law enforcement puts on, and it's essentially a cell tower. Now, one thing that people don't really know, or I mean, as soon as I say it, you'll know, but it's kind of obvious when you think about it. Your phone, by default, connects to the strongest cell tower, right? This is why when we're hauling butt down the highway and we are on the phone, we don't drop the call because your phone's like, all right, here's another strong cell tower. Let's keep it going. Oh, here's the next cell tower. Keep it going, right? It's like, or like wireless access points in buildings, like hotels and stuff, right? Like you don't drop it. You don't question it. You're not like, oh, wow, this is pretty cool technology. No, you just kind of accept it as like a fact. Well, because of that protocol, you can't opt out of certain towers. So when someone stands up a stingray right next to you and it's beaming out look like it's a cell phone tower, your phone's immediately going to connect to it because it's like, oh my God, they just built a cell tower right next to me. Like, let's connect to that for great stability, right? Higher integrity in network transmission. Well, the stingray is like a man-in-the-middle attack. In fact, it is not like a man-in-the-middle attack. It is a man-in-the-middle attack. Your data goes through it, and then it relays it to the next closest cell tower, right? Now, the idea behind this is that it's very easy to intercept communications from mobile devices for law enforcement to do investigations, collect information, see who you're calling, see what sites you're going to, whatever. Well, apparently, like surprise, surprise, and this is why you've got to be careful putting like overreaching controls in the hands of law enforcement. Secret Service and ICE agents are breaking the law using these cell phone towers. They're not following policy. They're not following protocol on when they stand them up, who they stand them up against. Okay, so the Office of Inspector General, which is like the internal agency that's supposed to make sure, it's like the watchers that watch the watchers, right? Who watches the watchers? OIG watches the watchers, okay? they've identified that these are being used illegally, and then they've sent, this is the part that upsets me, okay? They've sent an OIG audit report and found that they did not adhere to policies, right? And that they need to follow these guidelines in order to do it. Here's my thing. It's like, dude, you found that they weren't following policy, that you made it clear. So like your remediation is be sure to follow the policy. Like if you catch your kid eating chocolate chip cookies when you said it's time for bed, or like you already brushed your teeth or something like that, and you say like, all right, well, the policy is don't eat cookies. Go on, get on to bed, little scamper. No, you would punish them. You would say, hey, I'm taking your iPad away, or hey, like you're not going to be able to go to that activity this weekend because you're not following policy. There are repercussions. There is penalty to deter you from this bad behavior. And it just annoys me that is not happening. I'm not saying fire people, but like, was there any type of reprimand for anyone here? And again, I want to point out too, like, it's not like I'm anti-law enforcement, okay? I'm not anti-law enforcement. But I'm just saying, like, you have to, like, we're civil society. We have laws and policies that everyone is supposed to follow. So we can all be aware of what we are doing with our society. And when people in positions of power abuse the access that they have, like, it can be really bad. It's a slippery slope. That's what tyranny is, right? Again, I know I'm being a little hyperbolic, but my point is, who knows what who they were using these on and what they were doing, right? Anyways, the final thing I'll say is if you ever go to Black Hat and DEF CON and turn your phone on, you'll notice that your bandwidth is like really bad, or you can't make calls or anything like that. And it's always been suspected and believed that it's because there's multiple stingrays all stood up in there. And for what it's worth, there are criminals, threat actors, cyber criminals at those two events. So I mean, I get it.
New tools to simulate attacks on ML systems. Microsoft and MITRE announced a new tool called Arsenal, designed to let researchers explore adversarial tactics against machine learning systems. Arsenal operates as a plugin for MITRE's adversarial threat landscape for artificial intelligence system framework. Microsoft will use its counterfeit automation tool to run AI security risk assessments and feed these into future adversarial attack profiles. Right now, the tool operates using limited publicly available information, but Microsoft and MITRE plan to expand this with new techniques based on what they see in the wild.
Okay. So I know you guys can't read this. This is pretty cool. It's like Tools Week here on Simply Cyber. We got the Decider MITRE attack tool yesterday, I think, or maybe Friday. The Decider tool. I think Joel Belton was going to make a video on that. And now we're getting Arsenal. Okay, so a couple things here. Arsenal applies MITRE attack stuff. Basically, it's Caldera. MITRE's Caldera. So if you're familiar with Caldera, it's essentially like Atomic Red Team's a Red Canary Atomic Red Team. It allows you to execute in your environment controlled attacks mapped to like whatever you're trying to test. That way, if you have a control in place and you want to test that, you're able to detect an attack against, like the control is either a protection control, a detection control. That's basically what it is, right? So you put a control in place. You want to see if it works. Well, you don't wait until you get attacked. You can use something like Caldera or Atomic Red Team to execute, right? Well, this right here is a plugin, a Microsoft Counterfeit Library plugin that plugs into Caldera to allow additional functionality and adversarial attacks, okay? I guess it also uses MITRE Atlas, which I'm not familiar with. If anybody can comment on MITRE Atlas, that would be nice. But it basically brings all these together and helps us understand attacks on machine learning. I'm a little confused how this plays into machine learning, security practitioners can use Arsenal, which has been jointly built off Microsoft's Counterfeit, as an automated adversarial attack library. Yeah, that's what Caldera is, to simulate attacks on ML systems if they lack a background in ML or AI. Okay, so if you're building software that's ML AI, which many people are doing, ChatGPT is doing it.
Shall we play a game?
Joshua's up in here. Basically, it allows you to do specific ML AI attack simulations. So it's a very specific use case. But hey, if you're working in an industry that's messing around with AI and ML, developers, anything, data scientists, definitely investigate this tool. And it looks like I would assume it's free. Caldera is free. Microsoft Counterfeit, I assume, is free. Let me see. Yeah, let's see. The word counterfeit's getting pulled up a lot. Look at this. Here's a report from 2021 on how to use counterfeit to test for machine learning risk or AI risk assessments. Okay, so really cool tech. Very nice. Way to go, Microsoft. Again, Microsoft with the win for our community.
Dark web market leaks millions of payment cards. The card swapping marketplace Biden Cash released information on over 2.1 million payment cards for free. This follows similar leaks in June and October when it released over 1.2 million cards. Flashpoint reports that about 70% of these cards expire sometime in 2023, with half the cards belonging to US-based users. The leak includes full payment card information, as well as anything needed to further phish these users, like names, addresses, emails, and phone numbers. While Biden Cash only appeared online in the last year, it's quickly become one of the top card trading markets.
Okay, so you know what? Hey, Kimberly, Allison Van Stone.
Straight cash, homie.
Guys, my marketing people, Rhea, if she's in here, the marketing people, this is how you market, right? So this cyber criminal marketplace is a business and they have some product that's about to expire. So what do? You get it. Like, dude, this is a straight marketing campaign. This is how you market. They've got this product that instead of it's going to die on the vine. So in order to attract new customers, right? Go to market strategy. They release all these cards. Hey, come take a taste of these expiring credit cards. Make a couple fraudulent transactions and then come back afterwards and get some 2025 expiring credit cards. Use coupon code, criminal marketplace to get 10% off your first order. Exactly. The Oprah's, you get a credit card. You get a credit card. Love it. Neon Nomad. Look under your chair. There's 2.1 million payment cards for you and you and you. Exactly. So I haven't heard of this credit card marketplace, but apparently it's saying that this is quickly become the go-to place for credit card illegal credit card purchases. I guess the only thing I would say is you should always be mindful of reviewing your credit card statements, fraudulent transactions, etc. It seems since they said something like 70% or 2023, they did give some number that many were US-based credit cards, which means if you're in the US, there's a uptick of possibility of fraudulent transactions in the next, say, 3 months or so. So just keep an eye on that stuff. The credit card companies are pretty good at detecting fraud. But I personally just had a fraudulent charge to the tune of $917 on my credit card. And it didn't get flagged for fraud. I found it myself and I called. Transaction was reversed. They issued me a new credit card. Super inconvenient, but it happens. So just be out there, be mindful. Chip Harris, yeah, you could use cash. But
now that you're done with the headlines, be sure to look out for the latest episode.
Nope. All right, so guys, that's gonna do it. Look at this. Hey, NCC group and base case 10:45 right on the dot. Nailed it. Where's my nailed it sound effect? Can I this one's good. Okay. Oh, actually, you know what? Nick Barker. Yeah. All right, so guys, that was the news today. If you were here just for the news, I wish to thank you very much for starting your day or making Simply Cyber's daily cyber threat briefing part of your day. Definitely remember to go out to LinkedIn, look for that hashtag Simply Cyber Community Challenge right here. There's going to be 2. Estella has confirmed she's going to take it on. I believe, Estella's a she. And Cyber Munchkin tag Jenny Housley. So look for Jenny Housley. Again, connect with everybody, like the people posting, as well as the people in the comments. Build your network. This is a great, great first step. If you're socially introverted, if you've not been sure how to get started with networking, if you feel intimidated, this is intentionally designed for you to be able to start slow and get moving and start the momentum train towards building your network. It's going to be a good time. All right, guys. Thank you all so very much. I will, let me check my calendar, as I like to do. Check the calendar. Yep, I have a meeting. Actually, I have an important meeting. I'll do jaw jacking for 2 minutes, and then I got a really important meeting right after this that I got to get to. So if you're going to just stay for jaw jacking, please stay. Yes, I believe I'll drop a link in chat. There he is, Internal Stranger. My man. First level connection. Go ahead. Here, I'll drop a link to him in chat. I didn't see his post yet, but I will do it. He's also connected to one Stefan Waldvogel. Great person. Hey, let me share something with you guys. I got a notification. I got to dig into this. I got a notification last night through the YouTube Studio app that they're like, oh, hey, like it looks like you're trying to like rig the system with like monetization and ads and stuff like that. Like, so I'm looking into that. I was a little nauseous when I saw the message. Like, YouTube is very important to me and to connecting with you through Simply Cyber. So I am taking that seriously, but just be mindful. I'm looking into that. If the channel ever does get taken down for whatever reason, I try to be very, very, compliant with policy and follow all the rules and, all the things. But for whatever, I will be using that newsletter list or email list from the newsletter to communicate with you guys. So just be mindful of that. If you're not on the newsletter, get on it, because that's how I'm going to contact you. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, no, I hear you, Joel B. I've received those targeted attack scams, but this was through the YouTube Studio app. Do I know any JavaScript shops doing cool stuff in security? Chad Green asks. I do not. Most of the JavaScript stuff I see is more like web dev, full stack devs. Yes, thank you, Kimberly. Definitely follow, like, and connect with all the people in the Simply Cyber Community Challenge. All right. How to live like a criminal. Privacy tips for the non-criminal from career troublemakers with Ian Meyer and John Strand. James Randolph, do you got a link for that? I haven't heard of PeerTube, but what I would like to do is stream through simplycyber.io. But I haven't figured that out yet. Have a great day, Jim Wales. All right, guys. Let me do All right, guys. I got to go. I got a meeting at 11. I want to go down and kiss my bride and get a little snacky snack, and then come back fresh and a couple minutes early for the meeting. Have a good one, everybody. Be good. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for the daily cyber threat briefing, be good. Thanks, everybody. Special shout out to Friendlies for making the stream today. Love it, love it, love it. Take care. We'll see you. And until next time, stay secure.
Yeah.